Ag Bioscience, the #1 ag tech podcast globally, is now available on video. Hear from leaders and innovators across food, animal health, plant science, ag tech, and agriculture. Mondays at 6 a.m. on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. While you're there, subscribe and leave us a review. It's the Ag Bioscience Podcast with Agronovis Indiana. Get more information at agronovisindiana.com.
This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the afternoon of Wednesday, June 17th, 2026. I'm Alex Brown. The 122nd Fighter Wing in Fort Wayne is one of several bases being considered as the new home for 2 F-35A fighter units, and Indiana's congressional delegation is weighing in. Senator Todd Young and Representative Marlin Stutzman sent a letter signed by the entire delegation to Air Force Secretary Troy Menck in support of the Fort Wayne base today. Young says the base has all the tools it needs.
They have the runway accommodations, they have the appropriate buildings, they have teased out future investments that are required to upgrade the base, but most importantly, they have the personnel that have demonstrated excellence, their operational excellence.
If selected, the 122nd Fighter Wing would replace its current F-16s with the F-35s over the next 6 to 8 years. Indiana University has named former State Commerce Secretary David Rosenberg to head IU Inc., a new nonprofit focused on growing the university system's partnerships with government, private companies, and startups. Rosenberg, already CEO and president of the IU Launch Accelerator for Biosciences, or IU Lab, will take on the same titles for IU Inc. The nonprofit is expected to serve as a front door for businesses and public sector partners. It will serve as the umbrella organization over IU Lab, the IU Applied Research Center, and IU Realty. Rosenberg will also continue leading the accelerator along with the IU Inc. role. From the #1 source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Thanks for listening to this IBJ Media podcast. You're probably going to remember this ad. Do you know why? Podcast advertising works. 85% of listeners recalled hearing an ad during a podcast, and 70% of podcast listeners have acted after hearing an ad. So whether you're looking to be heard across the entire IBJ Media Podcast Network, sponsor one of our shows, or just start with a 30-second ad, IBJ Media can help. Contact advertise@ibj.com to learn more.
Employers across the South Bend-Elkhart region are investing more heavily in internships as they look for new ways to attract and retain talent. Rather than treating interns as temporary help, many companies are using the program to introduce students to local career opportunities and encourage them to stay in the region after graduation. The South Bend Regional Chamber oversees the Intern Connect program, which helps connect interns with social, networking, and professional development opportunities across the region. Kate Lee is Executive Director of Education and Workforce for the Chamber.
Really, the whole idea is, of course, to increase the population, which is always our goal, but also young people bring a kind of energy and talents and skills, and we need that continued infusion of energy into the community, and young people are the ones who really do that. The goal is to introduce them and let them know that there are real opportunities for them in South Bend.
This summer, 121 interns from multiple employers are enrolled in the Intern Connect program. Since launching in 2014, the program has interacted with nearly 1,600 students. The University of Evansville has reached a milestone in its We Grow ACES initiative, which aims to address food insecurity and workforce development. Students participating in the initiative completed their first harvest of fresh produce grown using a hydroponic farming system in partnership with Evansville-based startup Anew. The harvest, which included 3 types of lettuce as well as cinnamon, basil, and sorrel, was delivered to Pangea Kitchen in Evansville. Fort Wayne-based Parkview Health announced Tuesday that it has finalized a joint operating agreement with Cincinnati Children's Hospital in Ohio. Dr. Tony Giaquinta, physician leader for pediatrics at Parkview, said the agreement will enhance the health system's pediatric services.
What this allows us to do is to really partner shoulder to shoulder to learn from them, but also to implement their protocols, their procedures, and what makes them the very best in children's health care.
Parkview said the jointly operated pediatric services will deliver emergency, inpatient, and specialty care for kids, reducing patient transfers and related travel burdens for families. Former Vice President Mike Pence is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports and entertainment, and beyond. Available now on the IBJ Media app or your favorite podcast provider. I'm Alex Brown for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.